just to elaborate on it, I would even talk to people who were, let's call it fair-minded. And they would say, how do you feel about the poetry in this book? And I'd say, well, some are good, some are okay. And they said, why would you put okay poems in the book? And I said, because it's me. I said, every song I put out is not great, but it represents something that I want to represent. Like, okay, here's all these, are all these artists great? Are all these artists everybody's favorite? No, but somebody felt it necessary to say, this is who we are. It was the same thing for me. It was like saying, this is who I am, warts and all. Here's a song, here's a poem about dead mommy, here's a poem about I don't fucking know what. This is how I feel today. I thought that's what being an artist was. And then you realize it's like every field of entertainment endeavor is really about managing your propaganda profile. I don't give a fuck. And especially in poetry world, because I didn't give a fuck about poetry world. And I realized that most of the mistakes I'd made in alternative world were because I cared about alternative world. So I actually learned a lot, because when I swung back to alternative world, I was like, well, this is the same intelligentsia. Which allowed me to indulge, coincided with the rise of hipsterism as a mainstream part of our culture. So suddenly I was confronting that bourgeois, jerky thing, you don't have the right mustache. And I just come out of it from poetry world, and I was like, oh, fuck you all. Which started what is now the modern incarnation of the band, which is, death to hipsterism. We're the antidote. I mean, we're so negative hipster that hipsters are beginning to like the band again. It's true.
I love it.
It's true. Because ultimately, hipsterism is an abusive relationship. Somebody's always telling you that who you are and what you believe in is not cool enough, right? So they love abuse. They literally love abuse. They want to be abused. They want to have someone tell them that they're not good enough so that they'll strive for the better faded t-shirt that they bought at the mall that's not actually vintage but looks vintage. And you got me. Yes?
So I recently saw Soaked in Bleach and the other one, the HBO one. I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary rivalry between bands, because I like all types of music. So I just, I talk to some friends and they're like, oh, I hate so-and-so. I mean, do you think Courtney killed Kurt?
Are you legitimately asking me this question here?
If you care to answer it. Like,
no, I don't care to answer it because I think it's...
Anything in that realm that you care to elaborate.
But what does that have to do with me?
Just because it's similar. Some people...
You started out by talking about inter-band rivalry, and then we got to conspiracy.
Yeah, because my brain does that sometimes. And, well, do you consider yourself grunge? Maybe that would be...
No.
No, okay.
Never did.
Okay.
I use the term loosely because it defines an era.
Yeah.
Like saying psychedelic.
Contemporaries.
Right.
Contemporaries, but not...
Yes. That was a Seattle word that we got pasted with.
Oh, so you feel like that was put on you?
Go back and read the press.
Yeah.
Does anyone really, looking back, think we were a grunge band?
No.
Does our work hold up as beyond grunge? Thank you. It's self-evident. So.
Okay.
I mean, I really couldn't even put the Pumpkins into a genre, really. I mean, yeah, it's mostly rock, but it really stands out and apart from placing it in a specific genre.
Our business model was the Beatles, was Led Zeppelin. Why can't we do Stairway to Heaven and Gallows Bowl? Like, why should we be confined? Which again goes right into the hipster thing. You can do that, but you can't do that. And then you go back and read the press that Sabbath got, Led Zeppelin got, Neil Young got. You start to see the similarities. They dealt with the hipsters of their time. You can't do this, you can't do this, you shouldn't do that. Same shit. You got a question?
Mr. Corgan, thank you for this opportunity. I wanted to say thank you for Oceana.
Thank you.
I was never a big fan of any of the music back in the 90s. I guess I was too busy working.
Right.
It was hard for me to move out of the 80s and the hair bands and that stuff. I don't know what it was. I bought that in 2012 and it touched the chord.
Awesome.
Immensely.
Thank you.
Myself, my children. For some reason I had no idea. So then I went back and bought everything else. And I remember the music and I enjoyed riding up here, going cross country, which is what I'm doing right now. So the only question was, I know you're free Friday night. If you want to stop by the house in Lafayette, we can fix some coffee shake buffet or something like that. And you can explain to me Kanopticon. I understand the theory behind it, but the song resonates so deep for me. I don't know why. It is truly the best thing I've heard in so many years.
Are you asking a question about the subtext of the songs lyric, or?
The whole album. But Nocticon, I guess you got
Okay, I think it's a good question,
from
actually.
the prison design in England in the 17.
Okay, I'll give you a general idea on it. I think as we enter into a technocratic, technological paradigm where our lives are interwoven with technology, the personal feels both more personal and more impersonal. So how does a human being manage the same shit that people have managed for thousands of years, which is, my girl's not happy,